So good morning and welcome again to this course on this entrepreneurial manager. And here we want to see a topic from Unit 3, which is actually the business model canvas. And the topic today for the discussion is customer segments. So let us get into this discussion of the topic. And so this is actually the slide. And this is the contents we're going to be discussing today. So there are 15 areas which we are going to discuss very clearly so that you understand the customer segments with respect to business model canvas. So business model canvas, you already know that it's actually a very important tool. And again, the customer segments is the core area. So this is a very critical area which we're going to discuss today. So when you talk about the introduction to the customer segments, now customer segment is actually defines if any businesses, whom do they serve? It's a very critical question to be asked and understood. And the groups of the customers. So every group, the companies deals with a lot of customers, right? So they can definitely can be grouped with it based on some needs. They can be grouped based on the needs. They can be based on the behaviors. They can be based on demographics. And basis that we can definitely for a different groups we can give a value customized value creation as well as pricing as well as distribution also can be done. And customer segment is a very important area. It's a very core area which influences other 8 elements of the business model canvas. And the importance of customer segmentation. One is definitely today customization. Not only customization, hyper customization is the key. And so customer segmentation is very critical. So you want to design solutions, value proposition which is tailored to the customer acquisition. And customer segmentation is actually it's shown to be as per the data from the field, it is shown to be definitely improving the customer acquisition and retention. And then it enables any organization to come out with marketing strategies which are going to be very cost effective, and then which allows and definitely prioritizing of the customer group, because you cannot treat every customer the same way. There will be high value customer, you have to definitely prioritize them in a different way because the expectations and the needs of these customers will be different and leads to better product value. What are the types of customer segments? We have 5 categories here. One is the mass market, where it is a large volume and the needs are very, very broad. And then we have exactly the other end of the spectrum, the niche market, which is very, very specific. The needs are very specialized. And then segmented market, where within the groups, there is definitely groups, but the variation is actually within a very normal variations. It's not a huge variation. It's not like a mass market to a niche market comparison. And then when you talk about diversified, within the groups, the needs are very, very important. So you need to come out with different products for these groups. You can't come out with the same product. And then multi-sided platforms, 2 or more dependent groups. So these are the 5 categories of customer segments. So segmentation criteria, how it is done based on demographics, the age and gender, income and education, based on the geography, and then based on the psychographic, the attitudes, the interests, as well as the lifestyle, and then behavior. So the patterns, the purchasing behavior, the technographic. So these are all based on which we can do segments. And identifying, how do we identify the high value customer segments? So analyze the customer lifetime value. This is a very important technique to identify high value customer segments. And then understand the willingness to pay is very important. Because it is seen that high value customers are always willing to pay. And then profitability, and you can use the data driven approach for this particular segment here. So coming to the next slide. So customer segmentation we are also talking about customer jobs, pains and gains. Pains, gains and jobs. So jobs is actually what do we a customer buys a product for what? So that is important. And what are the pain points he's got? What are the frustrations, the barriers and risk with the existing products or lack of the existing products? And what are the gains? So what is actually the benefits he expects? So this 3 is very important to come out with the innovative new products and value propositions. And once you come out that the persona creation for the customer segments is also very important. So you need to, for example, if we talk about this example which is shown in the slide here, where we talk about the customer is a tech-savvy student and the age is around 20 to 25 and then prefers mobiles first solution. So this is actually a persona. So based on this, we can actually create targeted design and marketing campaigns. Now, what are the tools where we can use to identify the customer segments? Surveys and interviews, and then heat maps, website analytics, CRM data. Social engineering tools is very powerful today. And then externally, we use the market reports and competitive analysis, and then AI-based segmentation models. Customer segment mapping. So this is also once we did the customer segment, the mapping is very important. And we group the similar customer attributes together, and which very critical in strategic decision making. And this also creating the visual cluster maps based on value and feasibility. So role of customer segments in the BMC is very critical. It influences value proposition. I think is the biggest influencer. It also determines the distribution channels and then shapes the customer relationship. How does a company approach a customer relationship is very important here. And definitely it is going to affect your revenue stream, and then it's also going to drive your cost structure and resource allocation. So we talk about an example of the Netflix. So Netflix, how is actually divided the customer segments into binge watchers, families and kids is one segment, international audience is one segment, mobile only users is one segment. These are all unique segments where it might overlap us also, but it's a very clear segments. And Amazon is also one more example where we see the customer segments here. Prime subscribers, Amazon Web Service clients were the business B2B ones, and the shoppers who were seeking convenience, and then marketplace partners were the sellers. And how do we build an effective customer segments? Understand your target market is very important. Then research the needs, and then identify what are the differences and similarities between the customer segments. And then grouping is very important logically, and then validate the segments using data, and then you got to align these particular business customer segments with your business objectives. So to conclude, customer segmentation is very important to the business model canvas. It is enabled in any organization to come up with better products, design, marketing, and strategy. And then it is a very key component of customer satisfaction and drives revenue. And then a well-defined customer segment ensures long-term business success. Thank you very much. Thank you for patient listening. Thank you.